my team tonight because when you lose a game like we did on Saturday night, it's really easy to let the disappointment of a loss turn into discouragement. And you just can't let that happen. And something that I've always carried with me since I heard it is Pastor Charles Stanley, who obviously from Atlanta, just a world-renowned minister. And there's so many great things that he said about the Bible, but one thing always stuck with me, and he said, disappointment is inevitable, but discouragement is a choice. And I think I was probably at Marquette when I first saw that, and I've always tried to apply that in my own life, certainly, but really with my team, in the sense of like, and not bringing it up to them as much as not letting them get discouraged, because they were down with that loss the other night. They knew that we had opportunities. And so they went at it the last 2 days. They went at it on Sunday. They went at it yesterday. We practiced. They were competitive. We got better. And, that emotional energy that you use, it can leave you at some point in time. And I thought that happened to us a little bit tonight. We came out really ready to play. There were times we didn't over practice, but again, when you're coming off something tough, you're exerting a little bit more effort and energy to get ready for the next thing sometimes. And the bottom line for us is we found a way, and that sounds kind of cliche-ish, but it's really true. Because the game was giving us something, we let it get away from us a little bit. Our communication wasn't as good defensively. Then we got a little cast happy. We want to shoot threes, there's no doubt about that, but we also have to understand, and I've said this from the beginning, and we've got a long way to go in understanding this, the game is always giving you something, and we have got to learn quicker what that is. And tonight, it was the lane. Tonight, it was the free throw line. And even when we're open, we still want to go inside, because especially when it was such a close game, we're sitting in that situation where we're in the bonus and we're 1 or 2 away from the double bonus. So that's a little bit what's going through my mind, and we had some discombobulated lineups. Maybe they're late that hadn't played together as much, and we didn't give Nick the rest that he needed once Ray went down. But we came out of a timeout. Nick was really good in that timeout, all right? Talking about too many shots, all I had to do was sit back and say, here's what we want. And I thought the guys really, really, they planted their feet, and they did a better job right at the end. And that's what we have to learn how to do. Because when your teams really take steps, it gets led, it become player-led, player-driven teams. And we're still learning a lot about that, but tonight was a really good step in that direction with the way we closed it off, because they can really shoot. And if you make mistakes and you go under pick and rolls, and certainly they can score inside. He's averaging 23 points a game. He was 25 going into Sunday, and then he didn't have as good a game. But we found a way. A lot of different guys played. We did not have Jordan Harris available tonight due to an injury he sustained in the game against Arizona State. We hope to have him back by Saturday, and hope to get him back on the practice floor. So we missed him tonight because he's been playing well. But it's opportunity for other guys to step up and play. And then I can keep going, or I can answer. I'm sure I'm on the minute count by now, so.
Coach, when you mentioned Nick being good in a timeout, I'm assuming you're talking about the timeout there after Oakland cuts it down to 2. There was probably about 5 minutes left.
Yeah, we took too many threes right there. I think I don't have it in front of me. I think we outscored them there at the end, like 15-5. I think, and then just doing math off what I remembered, not off the stat sheet. But that was a big moment because we were open, but so was the lane, right? And that's what we have to take advantage of. And we just don't have. I thought T-Shawn Hightower did a really good job tonight, and he played a lot more point guard tonight. A lot more bringing the ball up, getting the set, and Turtle was off it a lot more, which created a lot more space for him, because that's what we need. We need him to get the ball in movement, and it was so great to see him knock down some shots. It was great to see T-Shawn play that way. The fact that Nick and Ray, like I said, 8 rebounds in the second half, the way that they kept competing and coming at us, especially the night when we had foul trouble. Again, with Derek, I think that's really important stuff. But again, I could speak forever. We've got to keep learning to understand. There's game plans, there's adjustments, all right, and then there's how do you get momentum back, and how do you read what the game is giving you. And we've got to learn how to do that. And sometimes it's got nothing to do with the game plan.
Coach, I know you never know how games are going to go. In a way, was it kind of good to have 2 similar games where you get the 2 big first half leads? The other night y'all didn't hold on. Tonight y'all found a way to have them so close together like that. Is that an advantage?
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely, that's big. It's all part of I hate to overdo the whole thing with learning process, but it really is. I mean, we've got, you know better than me, there's a lot of guys, there's young players in there that are in huge roles right now. When you look at a situation like a T-Shawn, when you look at Nick, when you look at Ray, you know, they played, but there's a substantial role in this. Well, the upperclassmen, especially the seniors, are in way different roles right now. I mean, that from what I saw on film and from the stat sheet. So with that, there's going to be even more of a learning curve, even more of a growth process that goes into that, and you can't put a timeline on it. So you have to go through games like this that teach you, and most importantly, they taught them, right? That wasn't me. You know, I'm just a facilitator in that situation. They taught them. You know, we're calling plays, calling actions, but they're the ones that are creating the movement. And when they learn to do that, they're going to get a lot better. When we start trying to look for things that aren't there, things of that nature, that's when we trick ourselves a little bit. But I'm proud of the way they played, especially in the fact that it's been a long couple of weeks. I know we haven't played the games, but it's not like we went to the Caymans for a return trip to sit at the beach. These guys have been working, and again, none of us are students, so we don't know well, some of us are, all right? The taxing that goes on their mind when they're going through finals, right? And so you keep going and you keep working your team, and you know that they've just had, you know, all that they've had to deal with, right? And because there's a lot of work, a lot of mental preparation, a lot of physical work that goes into preparing for school. So I'm proud of what they did, and now we know we've got a huge one to get ready for on Saturday.
I don't think Turtle had hit a 3 in almost a month, and he comes out.
Is that right?
Yeah, I think it was November 21st, and he comes out and drains 4. Did you basically tell him you want him to, I know you said at the beginning of the year you needed him to shoot, but you really hadn't been too assertive. Was there a special point of contention coming into this one?
We made a point yesterday. We need it, first and foremost. We need it, right? Because we've done a lot, bless you, we've done a lot with his feet. We've done a lot with trying to get him more squared up. He's got the ball in his hands a lot, which is, I've said this to you guys before. I mean, with the way we're playing with the line, and we have that NBA 3-point line in and everything that we do, obviously not in the game, and our 4-point line, we're trying to get them to continue to understand the spacing that we want, right? The spacing that we need to play with. Well, that takes time for them to learn. So sometimes what happens is Turtle gets too close to the 3-point line and his footwork's not where it needs to be. Tonight we had him spaced. You know, we basically had him in the 5 spot in some of our offense, where he wasn't the 5-man, he was in the 5 spot. You know, I do a lot of spot calling, you know, with the actions that we run. And so he was able to get free, and then they went zone really early. So he really, that made it even easier for him to get looks, because he didn't have the ball in his hands to start the zone offense. He was able to get it in movement, get it on reversals. And so that helped. And that first one went in, and the second one, and it just felt great for him. And same with T-Shawn. He only hit a couple, but we needed T-Shawn to have a good night. And if we're going to get better, guys like those two, Tyree, Jordan, our freshmen, those guys have really got to continue to step up consistently.
Any more questions?
Mike, you know Terry Hutchinson?
No.
You didn't hear about that? We'll talk about it.
Okay. I think tonight was Ray's first career double-double.
Is that right?
Yeah. Would you project this as a guy that's going to have double-digit, double-double? What do you see from him, just from a growth
Yeah,
standpoint?
and I thought he did a really good job, because I thought he had to go to the reserve tank today, because he's gone really hard the last couple days. And I didn't give him a lot of break on Sunday. Gave Nick a little bit more of a break, but not as much with Ray. Nick had played 37 minutes. And Ray exerts a lot of energy. And we need Ray to be a 2-half player, a consistent player. We've been doing a lot of math and work on, okay, why are we struggling in that second half? What are our defensive issues? What are our offensive issues? Well, Ray's been the one that's been pretty consistent across the board, and we need even more of that. So there's no question. Ray has made tremendous strides with his decision-making, his vision, his shooting. I was really pumped about the 8 rebounds in the second half for him, and I think that's a great goal. I didn't know that was his first one. I'm learning all kinds of things in here. Learning about Turtle. This is awesome. So it's good. Glad I didn't know that about Turtle. So.
Questions? All right, thanks, good.
All right, thanks.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Coach.